we are going to showcase our country whether you like it or not. So I'm saying to you as the minister, this is the year, not 2026. And my message to everybody here, if we don't fix your problems this year, then we must leave. But some of us, you see, I'm a child of God, and I'm unashamed when it comes to the word of God. When the word of God is being sang or administered, I have a feeling in me because
Guys, amidst all the whole negative energy around Johannesburg and the fact that Johannesburg is the city where the next G20 summit will be hosted in South Africa in November this year, 2025, Gayton McKenzie is still really positive, you see, and this is kind of like one of those voices and those kinds of voices that the country needs in a dark time like this. So he's actually really positive that, South Africa will showcase, to the world the energy and the vibrance and the creativity encapsulated in South Africa, and that's what his mission is, because he's actually arguing that this year is the year for South Africa, and it's one of the years that South Africa will be breaking history, because it will be the year that South Africa will be hosting the G20. He actually argues even that President Cyril Ramaphosa is almost the president of the world as we speak, because he's the one that's been chosen to be the president of the G20 and all of that. So he's bringing all of that energy, amidst all the whole darkness, amidst all the whole negativity, amidst all the whole disappointment that many South Africans have against, the ANC. And, one of the things I've really come to realize on why he actually takes his ministry, sports, arts, and culture really seriously is because of the fact that, it argues here, I found a research that actually argues that, the sports, arts, and culture in South Africa contributes at least to approximately 5% of GDP in South Africa, all right? And I found another chart here that actually shows that, South Africa is among the 20 nations according to a research done by the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, that South Africa and Kenya are the only two countries in Africa that make up the first 20 countries that have, significant contribution of creative industries to the GDP. So this is a really important department in South Africa. And even if you go deeper, you see that even in the creative industry, we have a lot of employment being produced, being generated, from the press and the literature. We see that, software and database also have a kind of like a much more contribution to the GDP, so to speak, by industry. There's press, there's literature, there's software and database, there's radio and television, there's visual and graphic arts, there's music, theatrical production, and opera. So you see these sectors, which we usually kind of like denigrate in a way, they have some form of contribution to the GDP. In Nigeria, for example, I think I can give a really clear example. I know how much the role of the artists in Nigeria, actually, the likes of Davido, the likes of this other guy who's actually Burna Boy, the likes of, the artists in Nigeria generally anyway, they've been doing a lot of production that actually been contributing to the gross domestic product of Nigeria. So these kind of industries, they play some role. It might not be huge as manufacturing or, the industrialization, so to speak, but they kind of play a role in the contribution to GDP. And I think this is why Gayton McKenzie takes this industry really seriously, and he doesn't really feel like he's down to play with this industry. This other chart as well shows the contribution of creative industries to national employment. There's South Africa there. Actually, South Africa is the only African nation among that 20. And this research is actually conducted as well to really show the contribution of the creative industries to national employment. We see USA leading the charts, followed by St. Lucia, then Australia, then China, then Singapore, then Netherlands. We have Canada, Bhutan, Philippines, Trinidad and Tobago. And then South Africa actually comes on that list, and is the only country in Africa that actually has a significant contribution of the creative industry to national employment, you see. So it's a really critical and really important ministry that Gayton McKenzie mans, and I think he really understands that really. I don't even really need to think. I know that he understands that really well, and so that's why he's adding a lot of fire, when he actually addresses gives speeches in this funerals. He takes the opportunity of these speeches to address certain issues he sees in the country, and I think he's actually pointing South Africans to the vision he has when he eventually probably becomes a president one day of South Africa. So this year he's actually speaking in this speech, really powerful speech. I would actually admonish you guys to watch to the end because it gives some hope and some light. He's actually, you know, kind of like beating his chest, arguing that there will be many problems that, you know, he will be fixing in 2025, that the Ministry of Sports, Arts and Culture in South Africa will be fixing in 2025. And if those problems don't get fixed in South Africa, he's willing to be reshuffled. All right, he actually argues that South Africa must showcase the nation in this G20 in November 2025. I think they might even be expecting Donald Trump. We know that Donald Trump has actually referred to Africa as a shithole. All right, so now that, you know, South Africa will be hosting the summit in November, G20. Gayton McKenzie seems to be one of those bodies at the behind the scenes that would actually, you know, showcase the power and the energy, the creativity in South Africa. And I'm really looking forward to how he's going to do that, especially in light of the video I made where Johannesburg by this DA minister was actually being argued to be decaying. I don't know how much the speed in which, you know, many of these things will be fixed before then. But anyway, he's really positive, and I just want us to quickly listen to how he really spells out and breaks down his vision for the G20 summit, especially from his own wing as Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture. And I'll be back for a really interesting analysis.
There's something that black people, we have a problem. Renali virus ya jealousy. You see, black people has a virus of jealous. All of us, we have the virus of jealous. Let me make you an example. I will use two people as an example. I will use Bra Chico and I'll use Maporisa. Chico hears somebody sing there. Nobody knows that person. He sings in the shower. Chico Ari, there's talent. He takes his children's money. He starts promoting this person. He starts investing in this person. He starts saying, operation hunger. Let's go and get you proper clothes. Nobody knows this person. Chico will take 10 of those people. Only one might make it. Maporisa will take 10 of those. Only one will make it. When this person has made it, he's number one today to demonize Ubo Chico, Ubo Maporisa, Ubo Oscar. Number one. Hey, Oskido is exploiting me. How no? Jab Rotobo Brown, Kaswitate. Nobody knew you. Today, Ujadi Sushi, caviar, you feel you must talk nonsense against the very same people that discovered you. Do you think you are charity? People don't discover you for nothing. They run a business. Now every week we must read about how black promoters, black record bosses are criminals. But for years, big white companies has exploited you. You've never spoken. But today you have a voice to speak against our own people. You must discover yourself. You must promote yourself if you think you don't want to be exploited, as you say. You must learn the business of music. I am in the industry. I am a writer. I write books. I own the rights to all my books. I make millions every month. Just with books, nothing else. Because I understand my rights. So my message to you today, know the industry that you are in. Yes, we failed you, but you failed yourself also. Be honest, man. Why are you in the music industry? For Instagram. You post cars, you post everything. Tomorrow, you don't have money when you are sick. But we saw you was a bag of 70,000. We must be honest about these things. And I want to say to everybody that's here, this is a new time. You know, when the most important thing has happened to our country and artists don't even know that. History is being made this year. For the first time in the history of the African continent, President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa has been chosen as the president of the G20. He's the president of the world as I'm speaking to you now. Now in Brazil, I want to show you what has happened. In Brazil, when President Lula last year became the president of the G20, the artists came together. They said, listen, we are going to showcase our country whether you like it or not. So I'm saying to you as the minister, this is the year, not 2026. This is the year where we're going to showcase our artists. Make sure you go back to the industry. Stop wanting to represent artists. Represent yourself first. To the bosses that are here, come and see us. Because we must this year show the world who you are. We must show the world. And the foresight. They say McKenzie is happy to be a minister. I'm not happy. I'm very happy. Because for the first time, the things I complained about, I must fix it now. There's no excuse. So I'm saying to you, I'm not going to fix the problems of artists in 2026. Not in 2027. We are going to fix the problems of artists in 2025. It is now or it is never. I should be reshuffled if December comes and you've not felt our impact. Ask the legends. Naki kadileka di legends. Bo Maralo, Bo Abigail Kubeka, at my hotel queens. Go ask them about McKenzie. Because I'm serious. But I can't be serious and you are unserious. You must know how to make an invoice. Ribukaba to go department. They don't even have UFA bank account at Cherwai. Kikolta Capitec. Instead of saying pay there so I can pay Capitec. So I just want to be clear here. There's a problem in this country. In conclusion, there's a problem. We've identified the problem as the minister. The mayor said it here. He articulated what is the plans they have for artists. I am also saying to you today, we can't have another funeral and come and talk the same things we spoke at the funeral of AKA, the same things we spoke at the funeral of Mekoni. The same, no, something's got to change. Take yourself serious so we can take you serious. And my message to everybody here, if we don't fix your problems this year, then we must leave. Because this is the year of the G20. Then, before I walk off, I have to tell you this because I've seen it in this church today. You see, I looked at some of you today here when I walk in here. You see, you must decide who you are. Are you a child of God or are you not? You can't be a child of God and then you are there by the Sangomas. You must decide which side you are for. We came to celebrate. When now Uduzi Nkari Ujile Red Tex, you are sitting. You are not even moving. The artist is busy here. He is singing. I'm standing there. When you are too important, I can maybe excuse one or two here. Maybe we feel you forgot the glue, so you can't move because it's our. But some of us, you see, I'm a child of God, and I'm unashamed when it comes to the word of God. When the word of God is being sang or administered, I have a feeling in me because I can feel the atmosphere is changing. There's a change in the atmosphere. Liskato dula mona nkari ripatile mutu anasatibi mudimu. We must stand up. We must worship. We must be happy. People must see us. Kolani zwakala hape kafeleleza shapa pinara. Let us stand up and celebrate this legend man. For us.
Ngikumbula Yenu Jesu, Yendi, Super Nikumbula. Yenu Jesu, Yendi, Super Nikumbula. Yenu Jesu, God's a war.
Yeah, brilliant, guys. I don't really want this video to be so long, but what I have to say about this whole issue is the fact that this kind of energy is really important in these times when South Africans really feel like, man, I really don't know. Many South Africans, I really shared with you guys the chart yesterday when it showed that out of the 25 million people in South Africa who are unemployed, there's about 3.2 million thereabout that have actually lost hope in finding employment, and another about a huge proportion anyway that actually are economically ineffective. They're not possible to contribute economically. So there's a really lack of will in South Africa by South Africans to even really contribute to the economy. So this energy that Gayton McKenzie brings in his own part, and that's what I think in South Africa, if everybody can do their part to the best of their ability, the contribution of these small parts to the whole is actually what's really important. One person cannot solve all these problems. I'll be making a video soon on how the ANC is reconsidering, the government anyway is actually reconsidering this whole departure by ArcelorMittal from South Africa going forward. And so at the end of the day, the government has to realize that everyone is trying to really contribute their own part in a really difficult space like South Africa. Rob Hersov actually argued that South Africa is really difficult place to do business. It's really already difficult enough. Government shouldn't be making policies to make it much more difficult. But at the end of the day, everyone has to do their parts to really add to this light that actually encapsulates South Africa. Because I really respect South Africa so much. I'm Nigerian, as I usually mention, really proud Nigerian. There are many breakages, there are many problems in my own country as well, and going forward, there would likely be more countries. But one thing about Nigerians is that we are resilient. There's a guy who called Fela Anikulapo Kuti, who's a musician in South Africa, who really he's a musician in Nigeria, who really captured the character of Nigerians really properly. He said the Nigerians are suffering and smiling. So Nigerians are, really resilient people. And, one of the things I really argue that, the government in Nigeria is really lucky is the fact that Nigerians are this resilient. Nigerians are not dependent on the government. A typical average Nigerian really believes that he can make it on his own in this world, and he doesn't mind traveling to the extremes of the world. I saw a video in Russia, for example. I think it was Siberia. These are the extreme parts of Russia, those really cold parts. The only black person in that city is Nigerian, and not necessarily because of the fact that they want to run away from their country, but Nigerians have an adventurous mindset. Travel is a really big part of their education. A Nigerian actually considers travel as an education, and so that's why you see many Nigerians have a very open mind, really open mindset, really understand the world, in its diversity. You get so that's one thing I actually think that if South Africans can actually adopt, have this mentality to contribute this little part, all right, no matter how much, no matter how little it feels, just like the energy I'm feeling from Gayton McKenzie. Many times I actually wonder, I really think that it might even be nice to have him at the African Union, because for me, I'm really passionate about the African Union. That's why, it's not a struggle for me to really comment on issues on South Africa, in Kenya, in Zimbabwe, because I see myself as an Africanist, all right? So it will really be nice to have this energy of Gayton McKenzie, even at the level of the African Union, to really bring life and energy back to the leadership of the continent, and really encourage the people of the continent. The people of the continent need encouragement. They need voice, a positive voice, to really showcase and really show that they can do more. But the African people are not really getting that kind of energy. And in South Africa, I think you guys are blessed with that kind of personality, Gayton McKenzie, and how he speaks and really challenges certain status quo, hegemonic status quo, and really challenges this whole many dogmatic ways of thinking in South Africa. He's fearless. Really, sometimes he comes like he's arrogant, but no, this is actually the voice of of leadership, you see. And that's why I and one of the thing I really like about him is the fact that, you know, he's really not into this whole divisive or division based kind of like leadership. We know that South Africa is really diverse, and the kind of leader that South Africa will really need is a leader that understands the diversity of South Africa and harness the strength in that diversity, not someone who will be putting in you know, divisions here and there and all of that. So this is what I actually wanted to just say as I analyze this video. I don't want this video to be too long, but I was really inspired by Gayton McKenzie, especially if you watch the dance at the end of the, you know, video where he speaks about how he's a child of God and he's not ashamed, you know, to praise his own God. Because you see, when other religions actually engage in their religious activities, they usually go unashamed. But you know, when it comes to him, especially many of us who are Christians, there's actually an expectation of a certain shame to, you know, but I like how he's boisterous and he's really, you know, forceful in showing, you know, his beliefs and all of that. Many people might think it's an act or something, I don't really know, but I just like the fact that he brings this energy, you know, to the nation in a time that the nation really needs, you know, a voice of encouragement like this. But anyway, I don't know, what do you guys think about this speech here by Gayton McKenzie? Share your thoughts in the comments.